Welcome to the Transforming Lives Luncheon, benefiting Center for Transforming Lives. My name is Leslie Oliver, and I'm Chief Philanthropy Officer here. Thank you for being together with us today to learn more about the work of Center for Transforming Lives. We will begin the program shortly. If you or a friend are having trouble accessing this program, please email eventhelp@transforminglives.org now with your name, phone number, and a brief description of the problem you're experiencing. Together, we launch today's program. Welcome to the Transforming Lives Luncheon, benefiting Center for Transforming Lives. My name is Leslie Oliver, and I'm Chief Philanthropy Officer here. Thank you for being together with us today to learn more about the work of Center for Transforming Lives. We will begin the program shortly. If you or a friend are having trouble accessing this program, please email eventhelp@transforminglives.org now with your name, phone number, and a brief description of the problem you're experiencing. Together, we launch today's program.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Center for Transforming Lives virtual Transforming Lives Luncheon. I'm Jim Whitten, a member of the Center's Board of Directors. Glad you're here, and first, a special thank you to our generous corporate sponsors. You'll see their information reflected in the opening and closing slides. And thank you to our table captains. Without them, you wouldn't be participating today. My wife, Debbie, and I are involved with the Center because we believe that together, with the Center's committed staff and volunteers, we can confront and defeat poverty in our community. The Center for Transforming Lives disrupts the cycle of poverty with women and children through safe housing, early childhood education, and economic mobility services. Today, we'll highlight the stories of our work, but first, a song.
Whenever you hold them and you see them for the first time, you know, there's kind of that love and that bond between the two of y'all. And whenever they were taken away, that bond I felt was never, like I could never get that back. I was thinking they're never gonna know who I am, they're never gonna love me again, like they're just gonna think awful things about me.
It was very hard. It did something to me, you know. It kind of broke me for a long time.
You're given that special sweet angel to raise, and then you let him down. And you're not the mom that you're supposed to be to him. So it really, really, really tore me up. It hurt.
I love my mom because she cares for me and she's sweet. She means love and the best mom.
She's kind, loving, and she works hard to make money for us.
I love my mommy because she's the kindest mom ever. She's always take care of me and feed me. I love my mom because she loves me.
It is my honor to introduce our CEO, Carol Klosick. Carol is the heart, soul, and inspiration of everything we do. Together, with Carol, the Center for Transforming Lives is getting it done.
In your life, who has been there for you as a mentor, a guide, a teacher? I want you to bring that person to your mind's eye. Could you have become the person you are today without them? I grew up in a family that experienced many hardships, financial and otherwise. With the encouragement of a neighbor, I went to college, which showed me the path to financial success. Later, working at a children's home, I learned the knowledge and skills in order to parent with nurturing and love. Because of these guides, mentors, and opportunities, I had a path toward transformation. At Center for Transforming Lives, that is our work, providing women and their children who are experiencing homelessness, poverty, and trauma with the resources, knowledge, and skills they need to transform. Last year, 78% of families who worked their way through our housing program increased employment, compared to less than 50% of families in the system at large. In our early childhood education program, 87% of our children were ready for school, compared with less than half of entering Fort Worth students. After engaging in financial coaching, our average increase in income was $2,500, demonstrating a 500% return on investment. Our deepest and greatest appreciation goes to our Wings of Hope Giving Society donors. Government grants and contracts do not begin to cover the cost of our proven effective services. Your Wings of Hope contribution of $1,000 or more per year makes it possible for homeless families to experience safety while learning new skills for new lives. You make it possible for a child who's far behind developmentally and who has been traumatized to grow and learn and heal. You make it possible for women to achieve financial confidence and success so they can take better care of their families. You make it possible for these children to experience a cycle of love, security, and belonging. And because of COVID, we are needed now more than ever. Even before COVID, more than 15,000 children were experiencing homelessness in Tarrant County. The worse our economy, the more children living in homelessness. Children are falling further behind in education, and there's evidence of increasing emotional problems caused by stress, isolation, and constant anxiety. But by working together with us, you can change lives. You can ensure that when a mother becomes ill or is laid off, we are able to secure her home, keep food on her table, and get her back on her feet. Each donated dollar draws 9 in federal assistance for Tarrant County families. Even before COVID, women often started small businesses because working full-time wasn't enough income. Our business coaching and fund for entrepreneurs is needed now more than ever for new business development that works in today's world. When you give $1,000, you can get 2 small businesses off the ground. Our gap is $334,000 for this vital business development service. Because of the devastation this has caused for families, we are expanding our mental health services, focusing especially on women with small children. Our gap to make sure that every family who needs the help is able to receive services is $96,000. Friends, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And no one knows that better than a single mother with small children alone in an apartment facing eviction. Let her know she's not alone. We can do this together. Women with children who are homeless try their best to be invisible.
Mothers, sisters, someone's spouse or partner, they've been bruised and they are broken. But at Center for Transforming Lives, our job is to join them in that journey and clear the path for them to move forward.
I remember one of my teachers giving me clothes and food to take home because she knew what we were going through. I dropped out really early. I was also a young parent, and I always told myself that I would never want to bring my child into the situation that I was in. And I remember just being a server and at one point being like, I don't want to be a server for 20 years. I knew that I was ready to take that next step needed in my life to make sure that I was successful. I went to TCC and went to talk directly to the director of financial aid. We had like an hour-long conversation of just everything that I was going through. He recommended that I go meet with the Center for Transforming Lives.
It's a very challenging, emotional subject, money. I need to eat. I need to put gas in my car. All of those normal activities that a lot of us can somewhat afford, our students are struggling with. We can put those 2 groups together, the students who need the help with the resources that are available to them.
Right away, we got to work, building my savings back up and just getting my life back together.
If Jenna saved $500 in 6 months, we would match it with $4,000. And in 6 months, Jenna had that $500, and we paid $4,000 worth of her education, which saved her from going into debt.
I have a degree in respiratory care, and I'm working on my 2nd degree in mental health and human services. So I've been able to not only establish a little bit more of financial stability for myself, but I'm passing it on to my daughter. and I'm showing her what's important so she doesn't have the struggles that I did. And now I'm financially stable. I have my savings account. My credit is amazing. I was able to buy my first home. When you have such a rough upbringing, it just means that much more to you when you are actually in a place where you can sit back and be proud of everything that you've accomplished.
It's changed the future of her life, but it's changed the future of her child and her child's children.
I was raised by my grandmother and grandfather, and I wanted the love of my mother. I had my first when I was 16. I knew to love my daughter. I just didn't know how to do it as an adult. Bills were piling up. I lost my transportation. Eventually, I lost my job, and then I lost my apartment. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna move to Texas. I was 21 at the time, and I became pregnant with my middle child. After having my middle son, I became pregnant with my last, and my boy's father had to serve time in prison. It just put more of a strain. It got to the point it was eviction day. However, CTL decided to take on me and my kiddos.
It was very, very quick that we were able to get her into an apartment.
It was awesome to get that feeling of I'm going through this, but I know that my case manager is about to come and I can just lay it all on line and she can help me.
We were able to assist with diapers, wipes, groceries, toys, clothes, all of the baby stuff, the high chair, baby crib. And then moving forward, we did a whole bunch of case management.
I was able to find me a job, keep steady income. When I told her I went to go to college, she was right there. They helped me get on my feet.
My childhood had its ups and downs. My mom was a single mom. My dad was on drugs. I made up my mind that I wanted to be able to provide for my children and let them experience life on another level. Graduated high school, moved to East Texas to work on my associate's degree. Met a guy, got married, had a baby. Life was looking good. Oh, I can be this person. Have a husband and have children in a house with a white picket fence. He flipped the switch on me. He ended up being abusive, and that's when I decided to leave. I put myself in a situation that I said I wanted to get away from. I was a single mom, I had a baby. I started waiting tables. Then my grandmother was murdered. And then 2 weeks later, my father was murdered. Then I found out that I was pregnant with my youngest daughter by a guy that was a distraction. I was gone, mentally, I wasn't there. I still had my 7-year-old to take care of while also taking 18 hours at school and working part-time because I still had to provide for my children. But I did end up finding Center for Transforming Lives.
We're trying to provide all of the support that we can so there's no barriers for our families to move ahead. Instead of worrying, how am I going to pay for childcare? Where am I going to be? Are my children safe? Are they eating? And just giving them that stability really helps them focus on what their goals are.
They guide you. And if it wasn't for this program, I honestly don't know where I would be. I have a full-time job now, and I feel like I'm finally getting out of the hole. I used to cry because I didn't know what was gonna be next. Now I cry because I'm overjoyed with happiness because I know what's coming next.
Is working in this kind of comprehensive approach that's integrated, that takes all these dimensions into account, complex? Yes. Is it really hard? Yes. But it's really important, and it truly is the only effective way to work with families so that they can break that cycle of poverty and trauma and instead create cycles of well-being and prosperity.
We want them to have access to housing services, child care development, early Head Start, economic mobility, which includes women who want to be entrepreneurs. Part of that is also the clinical team in making sure that they have access to quality evidence-based therapy services.
If the Center for Transforming Lives didn't exist and they weren't on our campus, that frightens me. The long-lasting impact that they'll have on the community, it will be immeasurable.
it can be life-changing. It's not only one person's life, but it's generations that they're changing.
If they didn't provide me those diapers, if they didn't provide me the formula, and they didn't provide the childcare, I probably wouldn't have finished school. I probably would have to go back to waiting tables.
There definitely is power behind breaking the cycle of poverty. It gives hope because our children will never, ever have to experience that. Now they're gonna live the best possible futures that they can because they have a fighting chance.
They heard me cry and they actually took me in and gave me the help that I needed.
These families that are living in homelessness and this kind of extreme poverty, they cost our community on average $20,000 per year per family. We can turn that around completely so that those families are instead contributing in every way to our community, creating greater security for all of us.
Hello, my name is Tiara. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for giving me a chance to speak on my experience. I want to share what I've gone through in my life. I was homeless. Together with my case manager, Center for Transforming Lives has helped me find my path. I am a single mother of 3 beautiful children. I am 24 years old. Yes, I know, very young, but also very wise. I come from a small town, Little Rock, Arkansas to be exact. I moved here to Texas about 4 years ago. Was the transition rough, you may ask? Yes. My dreams were just a little bigger than my actual reality. My dream was to become a registered nurse. When I thought I wasn't going to reach my goal, I became frustrated, sad, and a little angry. I felt frustrated because I wasn't where I wanted to be. I felt sad because I felt as though I failed myself and my kids. I felt angry because things just wasn't going according to my plan. I fell into very hard times, living from place to place, carrying my kids from here and there. I found myself homeless, nowhere to go and no one to turn to. But I was determined not to go back. I would not return home as a failure. So I made a drastic decision. I entered into a homeless shelter. When I made the decision to go into the shelter, honestly, I was scared. But also I felt some sense of hope. The shelter was a relief for moving from place to place. My family and I had food, shelter, a playground for the kids, and most of all, it gave us some sense of security. Luckily, I didn't have to stay too long. About a month in, I was out. Thankfully, Center for Transforming Lives took my kids and me in. They provided us with all the things that we lacked. An apartment, stability, and added to my determination. Miss Nina Novi was one amazing case manager. Never once did she give up on me, no matter how stubborn I was. And I could be very stubborn. She kept pushing me to move forward. Miss Nina found a variety of different resources for my family. Food pantries, furniture, clothes, you name it, the list goes on. She has done an amazing job making sure my family and I had the essentials. She made sure my family had everything we needed. Earlier this year, I started at Tarrant County Community College. I am now on the path to become a registered nurse. I feel unstoppable. My reality is now becoming bigger than my dreams, and I am really living the dream that I've always wanted.
Tiara, thank you for sharing your story with us today, for your tenacity and for your strength. Almost 30 years ago, a young girl much like Tiara sat in her car in the last hours of the day, deciding how or if she would go on. Her mother and stepfather had left her and her younger brother months before. She worked 2 restaurant jobs to pay the house payment and as many as the utilities as she could. Because she was 16, she dared not tell anyone for fear of them both being placed in child care services. And as scary and as violent as her family had been, she was certain that strangers would only be worse. She was exhausted and scared. She didn't know it, but someone had figured it out, and instead of judging her, they helped. They changed the course of her life forever. They changed the course of my life forever. I can never repay that debt, but I can tell you that your support and donations allow CTL to do the same for moms like Tiara. No one wants to live in poverty, but sometimes there are no lifelines. CTL is that lifeline, and with us together, you can change lives by supporting our programs. I'm Melissa Mitchell, chair of CTL's board of directors. I'm here and with you today because someone thought it mattered if I succeeded, without judgment, but with possibilities. We should celebrate Tiara and her kids. They help strengthen the fabric of our community, as do all of our families. You can make a difference for families that reach out for generations. My own life is an example. My 3 children will not have to walk the path that I did. They have a foundation of love, strength, and education because someone helped me become who I deserve to be, not who my experience dictated. Won't you join together with me and my husband, Michael, in offering that same hope and possibility to other families? It's a privilege to ask you to help us grow our programs by joining CTL in the Wings of Hope Giving Society. This group is integral to the success of CTL's mission, as their contributions support the organization with sustainable funding. It is my great honor to announce today that leadership gifts have been made by individuals to the Center for Transforming Lives. We appreciate these donors for their support. When you give today or by Friday at noon, these leadership donors will match your gift up to $125,000. Please make your pledge to join Wings of Hope Giving Society by Friday at noon. I hope you'll give generously. Some of you attended this event last year and pledged your support. We thank you sincerely. We would ask that you consider paying off your pledge early and/or increasing the amount of your pledge. 2020 was a remarkable year and saw the needs for our most vulnerable families increase dramatically. Please help us secure more programming through your generous gifts. Your membership in our Wings of Hope Giving Society is incredibly important. Usually you receive a pledge card, but we've made it even easier for you to give. We've placed a link to give in the chat, and you've received it in your email. Please click that link, and I'll share what you'll see when you click it. When you choose to make a pledge, you choose to provide sustaining support to CTL's mission over 5 years. Start by selecting Pledge. Next, decide if you want to make payments monthly or annually. Then you will see that the Wings of Hope Giving Society pledge level names that are meant to give you a sense of what your contribution can do. Your contribution will go towards the unrestricted operating funds for the Center of Transforming Lives. The first giving level, Opportunity, is a pledge of $1,000 each year for 5 years, which is approximately $84 per month. A pledge of Opportunity would help prevent homelessness for a family like Jenna's for the next 5 years by providing financial education and one-on-one coaching for several months. The next level, Purpose, is a pledge of $10,000 a year for 5 years, or about $834 a month. Together with your Purpose pledge, we can move 10 mothers out of homelessness shelters or off the streets into homes and a new life just like Tiara. The final level, Empowerment, is a pledge of $25,000 a year for 5 years, or $2,084 every month. With an investment at the empowerment level, we can educate an entire classroom of low-income or homeless children like Natasia's, ensuring that they have all the tools they need to be ready for kindergarten, like the beautiful children that sang at the beginning of our program. For those of you who may prefer to give at a different level, you'll see a button to choose Other Amount. Clicking there, you'll tell us how much you'd like to give and for how many years. If your gift is for $1,000 or more for 5 years, you will become a member of our Wings of Hope Giving Society. Perhaps you simply have some great ideas for us. If so, please check the next box, the one that says, "Please contact me. I have other thoughts to share." From there, the form is easy. Enter your information, and someone from the CTL staff will call you to complete your payment via credit card. Remember to hit Submit, the green button, at the bottom of the page. Please be sure to submit your pledge form at the conclusion of this program, and remember that the deadline is Friday at noon to match the generous funds already pledged. On behalf of everyone at the Center for Transforming Lives, including the women and children we serve every day, thank you for logging in to learn and to offer us your valuable time to be there. In the words of Maya Angelou, love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. You can help us sow hope with your support, from poverty to prosperity together. We sincerely appreciate each of you and hope this message of action and success resonates with you for the rest of today and beyond.